Good, and you?
Good.
Yeah, man.
I like that.
You're gonna be online.
No shit.
Yeah. Hey YouTube, HowlOnWheels here. Hoping everyone's having a pretty rad summer so far. I gotta say, it has been a great weekend of riding so far. Coming up on Sunday evening, so the weekend's coming to an end. Which is a damn shame, because all day today, the CB500 has felt like a brand new bike. And that'll segue right into the first topic of today, which is regarding how people in the motorcycle community, at least around here, are just all awesome. As I've said a couple times before, I have not been riding all that long. Only about a year and a half. The whole time on vintage bikes, and one of the downsides of that is, as a new rider on these old bikes, it's tough to know how they're supposed to be. I have no frame of reference, so very often I'll think of just certain things that happen with the bike to be normal for a bike that's about 40 years old. For example, on this bike, even before I had these lower bars on here, the throttle was incredibly tight, to the point where it gives me huge blisters across the palm of my hand just to ride. Especially for long rides, it was incredibly painful on my hands. And the reason I thought was because I just assumed that older bikes, like these 4 carburetor bikes, like the Honda CB series, have the 4 cylinders and the 4 carburetors that all have 1 linkage and 1 large spring. I just assumed that the spring was incredibly stiff by design. I don't know why they would have done that. I just assumed that was the way it is. I had never ridden anything else, and of course, I had never ridden the bike new, so I didn't know that it shouldn't be any other way. So I go to hang out with a couple of my friends the other night at a shop in Williamsburg called Brooklyn Moto, which I highly recommend to anybody looking to get work done on their bike if you're in the area. Not necessarily, a vintage bike, but anything. As long as it's, they work on everything from vintage bikes to the newest high-end machines, and they make them go silly fast. But I digress. I was hanging out, and they asked me, how's the bike running? I said it's running all right, but the throttle's a little stiff, and I'm thinking about getting a lighter spring for the throttle linkage, on the carburetor linkage. And they looked at me like I was crazy and said, why would you want to do that? That doesn't make any sense. And I said, well, because it's just kind of being so old, it's real stiff, and it's a pain in the ass to twist the throttle and keep it open for a long time. They said bring it on in. It was after hours. They were working on their own bikes, and my buddy Rick grabs the throttle, gives it a twist, looks me in the eye, and goes, "You're out of your goddamn mind." Calls Ross over. Ross does the same thing. Looks at me and goes, "You've been riding the bike like this?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know it should be any other way." So we pull the tank off, and which I've done many times, and we looked at the way the throttle cables were routed. I think routed. Anyway, Other throttle cables were routed, which I had set up, you know, as the climber's manual has spec'd, and they said that's just, you know, it's causing way too much binding. We rerouted the cables, put everything back together. And after we were done, or I should say they were done, they really helped me out there. It feels like a brand new bike. It feels like I suddenly got 20 more horsepower on tap. So I guess what I'm getting at is, so at the end of the day, if you're in New York City, look at Brooklyn Moto, because those guys are fantastic. Especially Rick and Ross who work there, super awesome dudes. I would have to say, they are super awesome, nice guys. And the link to their shop, of course, is in the description of the video. Part 2 of this video is going to deal more with a new direction I might be taking. I had a couple of people who really liked the last video I made, sort of the clips of hanging out and splicing it together with music. So I'm going to give that a go on this one as well. I figure there's enough parties going on that I end up at every week, where I can take footage of people hanging out around bikes and just sort of having a good time. And I will split that together with a little music and put that as the second half of my video. So today we had a huge big party at Works Engineering. It's called Muffler Burn. This was, I have no idea how many years they've been doing this. I'm sorry. They've been doing this for a long time. Every summer in August, having a big vintage themed motorcycle show at their shop in Williamsburg. They're an excellent shop. Their link will also go in the description of the video. Well over 100 bikes today. Lots of people, a couple of good bands, pizza, beer, burgers, everything you need from a good barbecue. So I got some footage of that. I'm going to put it together with a song, and I will share that with you guys right now. Enjoy.
Said, oh God,